Dozens of QCA veterans are getting ready to head to Washington for today's honor flight. KWQC's Danielle McCarthy is live at the airport. Had a delay earlier, Danielle. What's the latest?
Well, David, you checked in with us at just the right time for a positive update here in this story. So if you look behind us right here, you're going to see all these veterans and their guardians actually boarding this plane. It was supposed to take off about an hour or so ago at 7 a.m. Now, finally, here the plane is on the ground. It was delayed because of some fog up in Minneapolis where it was coming from. But, you know, that's not keeping anyone down this morning. Everyone here is still really excited and good spirits. If you look, you see a lot of them smiling right here as they are boarding the plane. Now, some other good news. Again, even though there was this delay, all these veterans and their guardians are still going to be able to see all the same things that they were scheduled to see anyway. So, you know, that's going to include memorials like the World War II Memorial, the Korean Memorial, Vietnam, you know, all these memorials that were built to honor these veterans' sacrifice. So they're still going to be able to see all of this, even though there is this delay that we're dealing with right now. They just might have to go through things a little bit faster here. But again, all smiles, and again, also everyone's looking forward to the welcome home ceremony that's going to happen at 10 o'clock tonight. The whole community is invited to come out and join in on that. Reporting live in Moline, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News.
All right, great. Thanks, Danielle. Glad they're heading out. Greg's up next with weather.
We just introduced you to two of those Korean War veterans, Bob and Kenny. They're back there hanging out. You know, we've gotten a lot of people saying how much they enjoyed their interview. So we thought we'd introduce you to their guardian, the woman who's going to escort them around Washington, D.C. today. Her name is Diane Borcherding. Good morning, Diane.
Hi there.
Yeah, so this is obviously something that's really important to you because your family has a very strong connection to serving our country. Tell us about that.
Well, I wish I could have done this for my dad. He died 30 years ago, but both of my parents were World War II vets. My dad was in the Navy in World War II, and my mom was in the Army. She was a physical therapist, and she went on the honor flight 3 years ago and just had an awesome time and couldn't stop talking about it, what a wonderful day it was. Also, my dad's brother was killed in the Normandy invasion, and both of my sons are in the military. Son Jason is a major in the Army, Detroit Arsenal, and assistant production manager of the Panther MRAP, and my younger son went to the Air Force Academy and is currently stationed in Los Angeles Air Force Base as cost analyst.
An incredible amount of service in your family, and we thank your family for that. You know, as you get ready to take off on this honor flight this morning, what are you most looking forward to about it?
I'm most looking forward to having my two guys have one of the best days of their life. And I know they've had service during Korea. One was a medic right behind the front lines and saw a lot of stuff. And I also think of my oldest son, who was military police and was deployed 5 times to the Middle East. And so I know what they've gone through, and I don't know, but I hope that they have one of the best days of their life.
Probably a pretty emotional experience for them, but you too, probably, right?
I hope I don't cry. I'll probably cry during the day, I'm sure.
Well, we wouldn't blame you at all. You know, a lot of tears are often at these honor flights. You know, happy tears, sad tears, a lot of memories and stories. That's what the event is all about. Now, right now, everyone is still in good spirits, even though the plane has been delayed. And we will keep you posted on what happens with that. We'll check back in with you here in about the next 20 minutes or so. Reporting live in Moline, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News. You can see a lot of these veterans here behind us right now. They're the ones in the yellow shirts. About 90 of them ready to take off on this 29th honor flight of the Quad Cities. I'm here with 2 of them right now. They just so happen to be best friends, actually, and live only a mile apart in Utica, Illinois. Bob Barnett right here and Ken Kreiser right here. Now, you know, this day is really a lot about sharing stories, sharing memories. Tell me what you guys used to do when you were in the Army during the Korean era.
Well, I was in the medical hospital, 121st Evacuation Hospital near Seoul, and we were probably the 3rd place that they took the wounded. First was the aid station, and then the MASH unit, and then to our hospital, and we would ship them either to the States or to Japan for further care.
Wow. Bob, what about you?
Well, I was a combat medic in Korea, and I had polio, and I couldn't answer the call right away. And I tried to get a little bit of a deferment, and they said, well, you'll have to get a doctor's slip and all that. So I decided I went to the doctor, and because I couldn't have no feeling in my legs for about 2 months. And so anyway, I ended up said I didn't have enough reason to not go to Korea, and I went into basic training weighing 105 pounds. And but I never jumped in the back of an ambulance in there in basic training or nothing, because I was determined I was going to do my duty. And of course, I think they took it out on me. They sent me right to the front lines over there, and I don't like to even talk about what a medic has to put up with in the service wartime. And,
Sure, you know, a lot of things that you'll never forget. We can't thank you enough for your service. For all the young men and women out there who are just now getting into the armed forces, what kind of advice do you have for them?
I would say go for it. Join the service. Unfortunately, young people can't find jobs because of our economy. I think the service is a great place to be. You get your insurance, you get an education. What more could you want, really? And you're serving your country.
So true. And Bob, what about you?
well, I agree with Kenny. I think it's a very, you build a nice retirement kind of a thing when you're in there, and it isn't all bad stuff that you get involved with. And there's a lot of real good jobs, and them are the jobs, and you get in one of them and you'll go right to the top, and next thing you know, you're retired and you got a nice pension. And that means so much.
Thank you so much, Bob and Ken. We really appreciate it. We'll check back in with you guys here in the next half hour. David and Morgan, back to you. Dozens of them, David, a lot of them making their way through security here behind us right now. It's obviously a really exciting morning here at the airport, and I'm with the man who's really behind a lot of this excitement, Bob Morrison. He's the Honor Flight Hub Director. Now, Bob, Honor Flight 29, you know, it's been going on for a while now. What continues to keep this so exciting and so special?
Well, everyone is different. I tell you, the veterans get so excited about a chance to see their memorials. They have no idea what's coming, because not only will they see the memorials, but all the things we do on the plane and coming back to find people here to greet them, it's going to be overwhelming. You know, it's not unusual that I have people that are so emotional they can hardly speak.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are some of the best reactions that you've seen from these veterans?
There are many. One time at a World War II memorial, I had somebody that just could not believe the number of civilians that came up and talked to them and asked them questions. At a Korean memorial, I had one who fought in Korea, who they consider themselves from the forgotten people. Mm-hmm. And they had people from South Korea there that came up and bowed to them, shook their hands, and told them how much they appreciated their country being free because of them. And he was telling this story, and he could not get the words out. He was just so emotional. He finally said, "I now know that we are not forgotten."
Wow, I don't even know what to say after that. I'm sure you were speechless too. Yeah, I mean, it's stories like that, you know, this is what Honor Flight is all about, sharing those stories, sharing those memories. I just talked to a veteran earlier this morning. I asked him if he, you know, regularly shares any stories from war. He said, no one wants to hear them. But, you know, everyone else who was around was saying, you know, he should be sharing those. These are memories that are really important, things that we all want to hear. And again, that's what Honor Flight's all about. You know, one of the most exciting parts of today is going to be the welcome home ceremony tonight. We'll have live coverage of that on our news at 10. Reporting live in Moline, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News. Yeah, Morgan, and we've been introducing those veterans to you, those guardians. So this time we thought we'd change it up a little bit and introduce you to Eric Swanson. He is the ride captain of the Patriot Guard Riders. Good morning, Eric.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing really well. So explain to our viewers what role the Patriot Guard Riders play in Honor Flight.
Well, in the morning when we're sending the guys out, the Patriot Guard Riders come in and we help move the wheelchairs around, help get guys through security and ready to go on the flight. And then at night when they come home, we set up something special for them.
Yeah, and that's always a really special time, very overwhelming. Now, you're actually going on this flight today. Tell the viewers what you're doing.
Well, today I'm going to be a bus captain, so I'll be running the blue bus. So we've kind of figured out that's going to be the party bus. We're
party
gonna have a good time.
Yeah, tell us some of the stops you're making.
Well, we'll stop at the Air and Space Museum. From there, we'll stop at the Korean War Memorial, Lincoln Memorial, Vietnam Memorial. And from there, we go to the World War II Memorial. And then from there, we go back to the Air Force Memorial and then on to Arlington National Cemetery to see the changing of the guard. And then back to Dulles Airport.
Last question, as a veteran yourself, to be a part of something like this, what does that mean to you?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. This is, I think, my 4th trip out now with these guys. And what I thought I knew about history, I didn't have a clue. And so every trip I learned more and more and more about what these guys really went through and made it so much better for the group that I was with in Vietnam, who have made it so much better for the guys now in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, definitely a very special group of men and women here today. Now, the plane is delayed. It was scheduled to take off right about now. So we'll keep you posted on what happens with that, but everyone is in good spirits. We've heard that the plane is in the air and should be landing here very shortly. Reporting live in Moline, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News.
Thanks, Greg. About 90 veterans are on their way to the Quad City International Airport right now, ready to take off on the 29th honor flight of the Quad Cities.
KWQC's Danielle McCarthy is live at the airport right now. Danielle, it's going to be a big day for these men and women.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, about 90 veterans on this flight today, 22 from World War II and about 68 from the Korean War era. I'm actually with someone this morning, a very special guest who actually falls into both of those categories. His name is Ron Batty. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, so, you know, your journey kind of started yesterday when you had the honor flight dinner, and actually you met the governor, got to shake his hand, Governor Terry Branstad. What was that like?
It was very nice. Meet the governor, shook his hand, and see myself on TV last night.
Yeah, and now you're on TV again. You're basically famous.
Getting to be famous.
Yeah, exactly. So we were just talking. You haven't been on an airplane in almost 60 years. Yeah, and you've never been to D.C. before. What do you think today's going to be like?
Wonderful. I hope everybody that's talked about it says it's the greatest thing on the world to go on this trip.
Yeah, you know, for a lot of people I hear it's really overwhelming, very emotional, brings back a lot of memories. You know, you might end up sharing some stories you've never shared before. You were in the Navy. Tell me some of the places you were, you know, back then.
Well, stationed in Norfolk. From there we went to Cuba, Gitmo Bay, Panama, Puerto Rico. We pulled barges. I was on a tugboat, to be honest with you. And we towed targets. Then we went up to Newfoundland and Reykjavik, Iceland. Those were all my trips that I made.
And your favorite place, your favorite memory from that time?
It was Puerto Rico. It was pretty nice down there. The weather was nice all the time, and we had a nice bar to go to drink.
Oh, thank you so much, Ron, for sharing that story with us. A very important part of Honor Flight, sharing stories like that one. You know, both good and sad memories, too, that, of course, will likely come up today. And, you know, one of the best parts of this is the welcome home ceremony. So we'll have some live coverage of that tonight on our news at 10. Reporting live in Moline, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News.